they flew in like pallets of beer and a band and had a huge rock concert with a bunch of dudes on the top of an aircraft carrier, which I always thought was really weird.
I like it.
We each got 2 beer tickets apiece, and I gave mine away. I think I sold them because they went at a premium. I made some money on those tickets. I did, because I'm like, at this point, I've been on this thing for like 60 days. I need more than 2 if I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right, and I'm not going to do this with a bunch of you guys and party at a rock concert on the flight deck, you know. So, but it was all in good fun. They took care of us, and but you know, so that's the longest I've ever been out to sea at one time, right? And it does get a little stressful. And the ways I coped with that stress was I tried to eat healthy, and I did eat healthy. I came off that cruise, that 6-month world cruise, probably in the best shape of my life. I ate healthy. I worked out like a beast every day. I mean, I took a couple of rest days a week, probably, or at least a day. But by the end of that, I was shredded. And I did classes, college classes, during that period, and did things to keep myself, my mind occupied, my body in shape, and to keep myself from going crazy and bouncing off the walls. And that worked pretty well. So, you know, and I'd like to give a shout out to all our veterans out there and people who served, in addition to all the people that are on the front lines of this war, which are our paramedics, our law enforcement, nurses, firemen, doctors, all people who are first responders out there, EMS, who are fighting this virus and dealing with people face to face.
My neighbor downstairs.
Nurses, doctors. Thank you. Our guest today, our host today, is the Hayden Soloway, the infamous Hayden Soloway.
That is not on my birth certificate.
Prom queen.
Okay.
Let's
get to the subject at hand, please.
And I've worked with Hayden for a long time. Hayden, you have some great news about cabin fever for us today, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. Isn't that right? What are you doing to occupy yourself?
Well, I just got my bike, and I've got it on the back of my car, getting ready to get the wheels pumped up. I walk. I do get outside. I live in an apartment complex, a condo complex, and we have a sidewalk that goes around the exterior of it, so I do that.
I called Hayden on Sunday, and she was kayaking on the lake.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
I saw a heron, and I saw a turtle with about a 14-inch carapace shell, and it was pretty cool. It's very calming. It's a good, peaceful place.
Peaceful on the lake, kayak. We also are lucky to have with us, both in our firm and on our show today, B.S. Begley, Brenton S. Begley, no BS attorney. Brenton Shane Begley here today. Brenton is an attorney. He also has an LLM in tax, which is a great addition to our firm. And we're going to talk about, hey, Brenton is an amazing attorney. Very, very lucky to have him. Thanks for being on the show today, Brenton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk a little bit about cabin fever. And we always have on the Elder Law Report, Hayden's happy place. So tell me how we can stay happy, how we can beat cabin fever. What can we do? There's reasons we can go outside. We can go outside to exercise.
Right. That's true.
But what if you can't do that?
Well, like in your own yard.
Sure.
At least sit out and play with your dog.
Hang out, yeah.
Take your dog out. I tried to come up with a list that was pretty encompassing, that would allow males, females, older people, younger people. Mm-hmm. A lot of seniors are like me. We're active, and we, do technology and things like that. And then there's seniors who are a little more sedentary and, are settling in. And so I tried to come up with a good list of things to do. One of the things I do when I just really am about to go crazy is I turn on some 60s, 70s, 80s music and dance with the doorknob. So that kind of gets me in a good mood.
You dance with the doorknob.
Well, I learned the shag. That was our dance.
So that's a good partner.
And the doorknob is the partner. That's right. If you want to get into this 80s stuff, and I do that too.
That should be a song.
But not when anybody's
Dancing
around.
with the doorknob.
I am not a good dancer.
Dancing with the doorknob.
I think I just cackled.
There you go.
Oh, anyway, I'm also going to learn to make bread.
Seriously? My wife made the best loaves of bread lately. My wife loves to cook. This is her time to shine.
Yeah.
Because I get home, she made Cracker Barrel chicken and dumplings the other night. The Cracker Barrel recipe.
Oh,
it was nuts. It was so good.
I'll bet it was. And another thing is try new recipes. You know, what are you going to do all day?
Yeah, so learn to make bread. Try new recipes.
My husband wants to learn to speak Spanish.
Ah.
I can't tear him away from his TV long enough to suggest that he
See?
actually do it. You
Muy
can
bueno.
plant a small garden. You know, they have these box gardens I've seen where they make crates so they can raise them up so that you don't have to bend over and get
What do
down
you
on your
use
knees.
to learn to speak Spanish? Duolingo. Duolingo. My kids are all learning foreign languages. I have a daughter, Savannah, who's learning, I think, Japanese.
Really?
Because she likes some of these anime shows, the cartoons. So she's doing Duolingo to learn Japanese.
Right. Wow.
And Jordan's learning Russian, my oldest son. I don't know why. He is. And because it's a totally foreign language with a foreign alphabet. But you
it's
can
not
use
a Romance language, so it
Yeah.
involves a lot of sounds that
it is not
that
a
we don't
Romance
make.
language, no.
As it is not.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, English is not a Romance language either. Just throwing it out there. English is not a Latin-based language; it's a Germanic language.
Well, I'm not going to
Spanish-
argue with you, but that's something that I was misinformed about.
Oh, I'm sure I'll learn 10 things on the show today. Yep. Spanish, Italian, French. Those are Romance languages. Those are Latin-based languages. All very similar.
Well, I got off to a good start
Right.
showing my ignorance again today, but I
No, that's not
about
true.
a lot of
That's
things.
It's just people, wacky little trivia things that people know, right? Or don't.
But I live for trivia.
Yeah.
The
English
garden-
is really a hodgepodge at this point.
Yeah.
It really is. It's very good at adapting other cultures,
Yeah, we got a lot
slogans.
of Latin, you
Yeah,
know, some
sure.
French in there.
Mhm.
We just can't make up our minds.
Well, I'm organizing my photos, and I have thousands, literally, of photos I've taken. I saw my honeymoon through the lens of a camera. I was taking pictures. It was in the
Right.
Bahamas, and I had never been anywhere exotic.
Sure.
So my husband finally said, if you don't put down the camera, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to throw it overboard. But I have lots of pictures of the Bahamas.
Right.
Where am I? I'm going to paint my bathroom. That's a good time to do things
I
like
thought
that.
you were going to say you were going
Or,
to paint a picture.
No, I'm not. A
You
great
could paint a
artist.
picture.
Yeah.
You could do art, or you know what? That's a great thing to do too.
You know,
the things that we forget about ourselves. Like I used to love to draw.
Yeah.
And paint and do all these crafty things.
I can doodle with the best of them.
No, I mean I used to really.
You used to what?
I said I can doodle with the best of them.
Oh.
You know?
So in our everyday busy lives, we kind of leave ourselves behind sometimes. So I feel like kind of this is you can find yourself during the quarantine. What were you going to say, Brett?
You know what I've noticed is if you look on Amazon, a lot of things that are being sold and out of stock are workout equipment for home. And then there's a lot of like adult coloring books or paint by the numbers type paintings that are flying off the shelves because people are trying to find something to do. Obviously, that can occupy only so much time. But it's actually a pretty good idea. It's that they say that coloring is calming and that a lot of adults, once they get into it, they get really into it.
You're talking about calming. I don't want to. Well, I'm
Is it-
going to put in just a little bit of something a little bit sobering. Abuse is at some of the highest levels we've ever seen it. Elder abuse, domestic abuse, child abuse.
Why
finding
is that?
things,
I wonder why that is.
Cabin fever.
Because
and-
people get stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so things that I've listed are things that I'm thinking that might help. And most people are not going to abuse
Get the stress out.
anybody.
Yeah, but
But
everybody
yeah,
has stress
just-
built up,
Yeah.
And the change of routine, maybe get the stress out in positive ways.
Yeah.
Declutter is another thing.
I want to go back to painting your bathroom. You want to paint your bathroom? I mean, that could be creative, I guess.
Yep. As long as I saw where Lowe's, they may request or require Lowe's to sell only essential products.
Right.
Well, there goes my paint. I've got to hurry up and get it before that.
Plus, we spend
but
a lot.
Lowe's is
Do we
like
spend a lot of
Christmas.
time in the bathroom?
No,
No. Okay.
but when I do,
But when you do, you want to feel comfortable while you're there.
I'm getting ready to hang pictures in my
Are you painting
photographs.
pink? Is it going to be
No,
pink? Why?
I'm not a pink person.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of I like all the colors that are in the ocean.
Okay.
You know,
So-
the Caribbean colors.
Is that because you spent
Do y'all want to come see my bathroom?
you spent like a couple of years of your life on a sailboat in the Caribbean, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I kind of want to do that one day. I'm like,
I
how
hope
do
you
just
hope
do
you
that?
get to.
I would love it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So, you know, I did think about the correlation between kind of quarantine and what we're doing right now and my time in the Navy on a boat. And I just, you know
Did
what?
you ever go fishing? Was
No,
it possible to
not-
fish off an
no,
aircraft carrier?
No. I guess you could off the back or something. Well, they say there's like schools of sharks that follow those things around
Well,
because
there's
there's so much trash coming off there.
all the food goes
Yeah.
overboard.
That's right. That's right.
Hopefully, the rest is recycled.
So don't fall overboard.
Right.
But no, you know, and
But they can't stop for
Do
you,
you know
if
what-
you do fall over.
you know what got me through those times more than just the day-to-day working out and those things was the knowledge that I was going to get off and what day I was going to get off.
Yeah.
And that I was coming back to my family and my wife, you know, and that it was going to end. So this too shall pass. It's going to end. The bad thing is we don't know what date it's going to end, right? We don't know what date.
Well, let me just mention one other couple of things, and because we're going to have it run out of time in a minute. Grandkids and kids, you talk to them on the telephone. It's kind of hard sometimes to have a conversation to keep the children interested. So I looked up, and they have all these websites where they have jokes for kids, knock-knock jokes, and
Right.
and silly little jokes that kids was like, which is a good way to just have a conversation. And you can read the kids a book, the young kids, and it's just, it starts the conversation going, and you become likable, and you look forward to the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, we have a group chat going on with my family where, you know, one of our nephews, who's my nephew, he's someone's son, someone's grandson too. But he's real young and he's real into those silly little jokes, and he'll give us a joke of the day. And so he gets on the video, sends it in the group chat. We all get to guess. They're actually pretty great conversation starters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty competitive too, so I want to get all the jokes right.
Cool.
I'm the winner so far. So.
Well, that, and creating a family cookbook, the recipes from families and friends. I have given one to each of my children, but I'm doing them for my grandchildren.
My
And putting some pictures
my
in
grandmother
there.
passed some years ago, and I still, we still make some of her recipes. You know, so that's a nice thing to leave, is a legacy, right?
Yeah.
Or just to have right now. How about that? So we have a great show today. You know, thank you, Hayden,
You're
for your
welcome.
happy place and tips to beat cabin fever. We have Sheriff Alan Norman calling in today. Sheriff Norman is the sheriff of Cleveland County, North Carolina, and he's going to talk about quarantine, the county, you know, how to beat that, and also, you know, just how it affects, I guess, from a law enforcement standpoint, as well as some scams that are going around out there, and what scams should you stay away from while you're at home, and how to do that. So Sheriff Norman should be on shortly with us. And, you know, I feel very blessed to be working right now. The governor has deemed some businesses, we're all essential out there, but some businesses he has deemed essential. Legal services are one of those. And our firm is working a bit of a modified schedule. Half of our crew is at home each day, working remotely, but we're built to do that. So we made adjustments as a firm.
And the office is still open 8 to 5.
Office is open every day, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and we are still seeing clients. We've made modifications with curbside signings and some other things. But I'll tell you, you know, this show and the Elder Law Report is brought to you by McIntyre Elder Law. We have an office uptown Charlotte and uptown Shelby. And we usually do, when it's not quarantine, we do a lot of seminars. Brenton gives seminars, I give seminars at least a couple a month. And I really enjoy interacting with people and educating people on what I do and helping them protect their hard-earned money and property. But because we haven't been able to get out there and do that lately, I decided it would be important to record a free webinar-style video seminar for people out there to watch at any time. So what we've done to talk about, educating you or educate you on how to save your hard-earned money and property is on a web page on our website. I put a couple of free seminars there that you can choose from, and you can look at how you can learn something during this time. Talking about education during this time, and how to do estate planning, how to protect your hard-earned money and property, what you might want to have in place during a crisis. And you can go to mcelderlaw.com. That's our website, mcelderlaw.com/free webinar. That's mcelderlaw.com/free webinar to watch that free webinar that we recorded for you. Milton, do we have the sheriff on the line?
Absolutely. We got Sheriff Alan Norman from Cleveland County standing by. There you go, Greg.
Awesome. Phenomenal. Sheriff Norman.
Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Sheriff Norman. How are you doing today?
Doing great, buddy. Doing great. Just busy times, uncertain times, but we're keeping it in the road and doing the best we can under the circumstances.
Keep it between the lines, show up every day, and do the job. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely.
But you know
Yes,
what?
sir.
You have a much more important job than I do, and an entire county to take care of. And I appreciate everything you and all your deputies are doing today and during this crisis. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Greg, and thanks for what you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Sheriff Norman, you and I had spoken briefly about just some scams that were going around right now during the middle of the coronavirus crisis. What's going on out there?
Yes, sir. Greg, we need to really, really push this out, and we'll probably put it on our Facebook page later on today. And I may actually just go ahead and tag it on my personal page. But there's two scams that are actually beginning to filter in to our area, and unfortunately, it's got to do with the coronavirus. And individuals are actually calling our residents, and they're going to be calling residents if they haven't already, in all 100 counties of the state of North Carolina. And they're actually calling in, and they're identifying this theft as calling from the Department of Health, U.S. Department of Health.
Right.
And they're stating to the recipient that they've had a report to their agency that the person that they're speaking with has tested positive for the coronavirus.
Wow.
And they need to be tested.
Right.
And what the culprit is asking for, they're saying that the test cost is $99, and they're asking the individual on the phone to pay the $99 immediately, either by credit card or debit card over the telephone. And they're targeting individuals that are 50 years plus. And it's in the times that we're currently in right now, this has got to be terrifying. If I received a call or someone in my household received a call, they're going to be extremely upset, because the first thing you think about is, this type of sickness and the unknown of what path you're going to take with the sickness. And another scam that's out there that's actually happening also is they're calling and claiming that they have a drug for sale that is actually a preventative for contacting the coronavirus, which you and I both know that there's no such thing as a preventative right now. And again, they're asking the caller to purchase the drug, and the drug is costing several $100s, and they're wanting a credit card payment while they're on the phone, either with a credit card or a debit card, and they're supposedly taking the individual's information, and they'll actually overnight the medication to you, and you'll take the medication as directed, which is not accurate, not true. And we just don't want our seniors, no matter if they live in Cleveland County or any person for that matter, we don't want them to fall prey to this scam that's actually, or scams that are actually going around right now, because we have enough on our plate. Even if you're retiring, there's enough of the unknown, and there's enough stress in your life without having to fall victim to one of these and be out either several $100s or the minimum of the $99 for the test. And it's totally uncalled for. And what we're actually advising anybody that receives one of these two calls or any solicitation to immediately hang up, never make payment by cash, a gift card, or prepaid card, a wire transfer, a credit card, or a debit card, and report it to your local law enforcement agency. If you live in Cleveland County, you call us. I can provide a phone number later for you, or if you're listening this morning, you live in another county, do not hesitate to call your local law enforcement agency, because that's what we're there for, and that's what we're getting paid for.
Absolutely. Great information. I mean, Sheriff, you and I have had a chance to work together in a past life of mine when I did a lot of criminal law. And you and I both know there's some really bad characters and shady people out there, right? And we don't.
There sure are, Greg.
Yeah, man. And we don't want them to be hurt by any scammers out there. And, seniors are a vulnerable population, and the most vulnerable section or segment of the population to this virus, right, to the coronavirus. And it's shameful that people are out there trying to capitalize on their fears right now. That's what's shameful. And
that's exactly what it boils down to. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're going to give up your credit card for a scammer like that, then they might take more than the $99 that they quoted you. They might try to max that thing out.
You're exactly right. If you give the numbers, you're basically at the hands of whatever he or she wants to run that card for. Once you've given those numbers up,
right? Just
keep in mind, once you've given those numbers, there's no way, and they've debited your account 9 out of 10 times, the individuals that are actually making the call are going to be offshore somewhere. And it's going to look like, they can actually make it look like it's a United States number when they're actually calling you. But in all actuality, they're calling you from offshore, whether it be the Philippines or a island off the United States. And there's absolutely nothing that the local law enforcement nor the federal law enforcement can actually do. We actually take our numbers, we take our victims, if we do have victims, and we turn it into the appropriate federal agency just in case they're able to actually ever make a case and an arrest. Hopefully you may not get your money back, but there may be some type of self-satisfaction of knowing someone maybe is going to be charged within the greater Philippines or the United States, if forbid they are here on our soil, so to speak.
But you're doing preventative law enforcement right now. I mean, getting the word out, getting that information out, educating people, that's the best thing we can do right now.
Sure. And there's with the stimulus checks are actually going to be mailed out within, Greg, you correct me if I'm wrong, are those scheduled to go out within the next week, I believe?
I believe so.
Okay. I know.
But I've, there's a lot of loans out there for businesses to help them through this time. There's a lot, there's stimulus checks for individuals that I understand is supposed to go out over the next week. But me being a bit of a skeptic, I'll believe everything that's happening right now when I see it. I kind of feel like I'm living in, some alternate reality right now anyway, with the shutdown and everything that's happened and that's going on. I hope that everything's going to happen as they say it, and we're going to get through it. We're going to come through this okay. I have faith that we will. So.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. As long as we stay united as one, as United States citizens, as long as we stay united and practice as much as we can of the stay-at-home provisions that have been provided for us. Now, I know that there's got to be individuals that you got to go to the grocery store, you got to get those self needs, and everyone understands that. but practice that social distancing. Wipe that shopping cart down. Have you a mask? They're recommending that individuals actually wear a mask now when appropriate. Wear gloves if you feel as though you need to. But the things that I have actually been told by our Cleveland County Health Director, Deshae Oliver, who has done a phenomenal job with us as far as giving us the tidbits that we need to know, is number one is self-hygiene with your hands and not touching your face. That is the two main common denominators, along with a minimum of 6 foot social distancing.
Which we're doing here on the show. You can't see us together, but we're all looking across the table at each other. Hey, Sheriff Norman, this is Hayden.
Good morning, Hayden.
Hey. I read where National Public Health Week is getting involved with the Sheriff's Department in doing temperature checks and, things. If you see someone that's may have the disease, referring to them. Do you have much contact with them in that respect?
Well, what we're actually doing, that's a fine point that you actually just hit on. We're doing what's called self-checks every morning at shift change, where the sheriff's deputies that are actually arriving for shift or seeing the nurse at the law enforcement center, and if you're running a temperature, you're actually being turned around, sent home, and then go over to the wellness clinic just as soon as you can get an appointment over there to see the doctor. Also, there is a nurse that is stationed at the front door. There's only one entrance to the courthouse, and there's a nurse there from the health department that actually checks the temp of anyone entering the courthouse, whether it be a sheriff's employee or anyone. If you darken the doors, once you come through the metal detector, she's checking your temperature. Nice lady there to help you and let you know what your temp is, and if it's 99 plus, she's actually asking you to step aside and contact your health provider and send you back on your way. But luckily, there's only been just several individuals in this 2-week time frame that have asked not to enter the courthouse. And we've been extremely fortunate, which leads me to another thing. Here in Cleveland County, and I'm sure it's in our other counties, the other counties that we're reaching this morning, the vast majority of our citizens are complying with the directions that have been laid out by the governor's office and from the national level.
Sheriff, you mentioned earlier about you were going to say something about stimulus checks, and I think that that's a ripe subject for scams right there. Not only will people have some type of money coming in that people can capitalize on, but getting calls about your stimulus check, give me your bank account, your routing number, that sort of thing. I could see that happening pretty quick over the next week. What do you think about that?
Yes, sir. What's actually going to happen, or what's forecast to happen, is with the checks coming out within the next week or so. The latest update we had would be they'd be out within the next couple weeks, but now that's time sensitive, so I'm not exactly sure. I may be a few days off, but the IRS Criminal Investigative Division is actually telling us that there's going to be scammers that might try to get you to sign over the check to them or get you to actually verify your filing information so they can actually steal the money from your account. Wow. And they may also use your personal information, to file a false tax return in your identity for the theft scheme.
Does the IRS call people?
The IRS will not call you. We have been told over the years, and it rings true, if the IRS is going to contact you, they're going to contact you by United States Mail or the United States Postal Service. And one of the things I had here that some of the tips that may help our listeners this morning is the IRS will never call you and ask you to verify any type of payment details. Do not ever give out your bank account, your debit account, or your PayPal account information to anyone, not even someone identifying themselves from the IRS, much less any other individual. Even if the caller says it's necessary in order, for you to receive your check. That's what's forecast to happen is these scammers are actually going to call you and pretend that they're with the IRS or an IRS investigator, and they need your information in order to route a check to your account. And once you've given that information to them, then they're going to actually attempt to drain your account of what currency you may have in your account. If you receive a call and it starts down that path, do not engage at all. Just hang up. And again, report it to your local law enforcement agency. Let them have what is really important to us is, in any law enforcement agency, we need the number from where they're calling to where we can forward it to our federal partners, the FBI or the criminal side of the IRS, because there's a possibility they're keeping these numbers available just to see if they can actually an open case in hopes of being able to prosecute. But even if you get texts or emails, claiming that you can get your money faster by sending your personal information by email or text, that's going to be another way that it's projected these scammers are actually going to attack to try and get your stimulus check. But by no means do not give anything back by text or email and delete that message. And do not click on any of the links that they're actually trying to reach you with from text and or email.
I can vouch for everyone that says the IRS doesn't call you. I promise. They send me letters and say, "Hey, Greg, you owe us a bunch of money." And then I have to call them and wait. And then I have to call them and wait for like hours to get through to somebody and say, "How much? This letter doesn't make sense.
Alan,
Where can I pay this?"
Alan, you said that we should report that number. Should we report that to you or to someone else if we get a scam?
You can actually call the sheriff's office, Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, at 704-484-4888. Once it starts into the automated system, you have two choices. Either you can hit numeral number 1 or you can hit 0. And talk with the operator there that that answers the phone, tell them what you're calling about, and you want to leave the information with them of your name, basically what time the call came in, and what they asked for, and the number they called from if you're able to retrieve that, or if you get an email. If it shows any type of return email address, follow those same instructions and just give us the email address. And I'm sure any listener out there in another county other than Cleveland should follow the same protocol.
Well, should I call you once with the whole list or each time they call?
Just call us.
We get them all day long.
What's convenient for you guys, the listeners? You can compile 2 or 3, or you can call each time you get one. But we're all in this together, and it takes a team effort from anyone that even may be retired all the way down to someone that's still in the community college or at a 4-year institution, because we are going to get through this. But we've all got to be united and stay united as one in order to overcome the obstacle that's actually been thrown in front of us right now.
Sheriff Norman, I can't thank you enough for being on the Elder Law Report today. It's our honor to have you on. Thank you for being on the front lines, you and your deputies, for basically protecting us and fighting for us during this crisis, and putting out great information, preemptive information on scams today, and just the message that I loved your message that we need to stick together as United States citizens to get through this, and we're going to get through it. So Thank you
Absolutely,
so
we
much.
will, Jack.
Yes, sir.
It was an honor to be there. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You have a great day and stay safe out there, okay?
Thank you so much.
Make
Yes,
it
sir.
a great day, Alan.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Hayden. Goodbye.
So we have the sheriff. Great information, great message from the sheriff out there to stay safe, to avoid scams, and to stick together and know that we're going to get through this.
Stick together, but 6 feet apart.
Stick together at a safe social distance.
That's right.
Okay.
And just add one more thing. From what I understand, the IRS is either going to directly deposit that money into your account if you already have your account on file with the IRS, or they're going to send out a check. If it's not in those two forms and you get some type of communication or correspondence, it's probably going to be some type of scam or fraud.
So we deal with scammers and fraudsters from time to time as elder law attorneys, and we get calls from our clients. In addition to law enforcement, if you ever have any questions, feel free to call our office, 704-749-9244. I would like to think we're a great resource and one-stop shop for information for clients. We routinely direct clients to the right person, who we think is the reputable choice, who we think is our preferred choice or provider of services. And other questions in the senior community, feel free to call our office, 704-749-9244. The Elder Law Report is brought to you by McIntyre Elder Law. Hey, we usually get out in the community. We give seminars. Hayden, you've given some great talks at seminars with me before. Brenton, you do a great job at giving seminars and educating people on powers of attorney, healthcare powers of attorneys, living wills, trust, right? And things that can help them protect their hard-earned money and property, right? Things that can help them protect their retirement, their children, their grandchildren. But unfortunately, we can't get out in the community right now. We can't give those seminars to people. I can't interact. I'm feeling stressed because I'm a very extroverted person and I like to shake hands. I'm gonna die of shaking hands during this thing, okay? I can't
do
do
the
that
same
or not
thing.
being able to, so I shoulder bump or I do the heart hammer, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
What you did and that what you
Yeah.
did.
So,
All right.
so
I like that.
well, what we did? We recorded a private seminar just for you and your family, okay? That we have a video private seminar just for you and your family. To get that, and you can get that free of charge, okay? We provided that free of charge for you. We're hosting that and making that available to everyone in the community right now as a community service, as part of our civic duty. And you can go to freewebinar.com, mcelderlaw.com/freewebinar.com. MC Elderlaw, that's Mike Charlie, Elderlaw, mcelderlaw.com/freewebinar, okay? And, another thing we've done during this time, Brenton, you and I met, and we put our heads together. We said, we're going into this crisis. It's uncharted territory, uncharted waters. I don't know where it ends. I don't know what's coming out of the other side. As a business owner, right, as a manager of a business, as managers of a business, where does this end? How do we get our crew and our team through the other side of this? Still be recognizable as a brand, right? And still be able to help
Right.
people.
Right.
Those are internally the things we're worried about, the things we think about. I've worked for years, blood, sweat, and tears to build what we have, right? Ain't no virus going to take it away from it, okay?
Right.
Or take it away from our community. So what we're doing is a community service is we've waived our consult fees. So we're offering free consults to potential clients and to any clients out there that need to chat with us about any issue. Call our office. Brenton, what do you think about the free consult? I mean, that was a tough one, but
Yeah.
we went ahead and bit the bullet there.
Yeah, like you said, part of our civic duty, and we're trying to, accommodate our clients the best way possible. We're offering phone consultations. We're offering video consultations. I mean, yesterday I had a consultation in the parking lot of the office. So I was standing outside. The clients were in the car, and it actually went great. And I don't mind doing that. A little hot outside. Took my suit jacket off, rolled up my sleeves,
Got a
and we
tan,
did it.
a little
Yeah,
tan.
little farmer's tan.
That's right.
You know,
It's fresh air.
yeah, it was good. So you're more than welcome to come to our office for the consultation, any free consultation that we give. And obviously, we're taking precautions. We're practicing social distancing. We're sanitizing the office. I've used so much hand sanitizer that I'm afraid I might get pulled over and get a DUI. No, officer, it's just
Oh, because
pure
the alcohol's on your hand. They're
That's
like,
right.
I smell alcohol. It's hand sanitizer, officer.
Osmosis.
Have you
in a
been
sense.
drinking the hand sanitizer? That's the question.
Yes, it soaks
That's
into
right.
your skin.
Don't drink the hand sanitizer. That's
right.
the rule. But yeah, and that's why we have half our office staying at home in both our Charlotte and Shelby office. We have half our office staying at home each day, working from home, working remotely, because it allows us to social distance in our office very easily. So to be a little more spread out. We're just trying to be mindful during this time, and offering the free consult is a way that we can reach as many people as possible during this time, and do it the way that caters to them. I've always been a big believer in setting up our services, and we don't handle your speeding tickets, we don't handle your personal injury cases. We do have great resources of attorneys who are very good at those specific things, and we refer to them. However, we do estate planning and elder law. That's what we do. What does that mean? Hayden, what is estate planning and elder law? You come in for special events now, but you're not at the firm full time anymore.
That's true.
What would you
But
say
I worked
estate
there
planning and elder law is?
Long enough to understand what you're doing,
Right.
which is why I ended up working for you full time during
Yes,
that
ma'am.
period. There are ways that you can protect what you have worked for, and most people, I would assume, really don't know those things. They don't know that they're vulnerable. They don't know that they can lose their home.
They don't know what they
Good
don't
point.
know what they don't know.
That you don't know what you don't know.
That's correct.
That was me from the beginning. I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought I had everything taken care of.
Right.
Sorry for the little hoarseness today. I'm not coughing. Or
Sometimes I have
Allergies.
consults with potential clients, and they tell me what they need and what their needs are and what they should have.
Well, I used to
And
make.
they may not be right, And I
Yeah.
try to, in good humor, let them know where they're vulnerable and give them an honest assessment. Sometimes I sit down with clients, and they bring in their estate planning documents, and they say, "Hey, are these documents that I had drafted in another state, or that I printed off the internet okay, or that another attorney drafted okay?" And we give them a review, and right now that's a free review, and we let them know where they're vulnerable and if those documents stack up or not based on our standards.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hayden, I'd ask you, is there misinformation out there about how you can protect yourself or what you should do to make sure your property doesn't get taken by the government or other people? Do you feel like, since you've seen, the right answer, do you feel like the wrong answers are floating around out there?
Yes, to a degree. I think most of it is, and I'm using the word ignorance in the pure definition of the word. They just don't know.
Don't call me ignorant.
They don't. No.
Oh, you're not
They
talking
don't. They don't know what they don't know. So they don't know
Right.
they could lose their house. They think, well, I could go ahead and give my house to my children. I'll go ahead and put it in their names, and we know what
Right.
tragedies we've seen there. So I think it's more that they just don't have any idea to ask the questions. They've got a
Yeah.
will and a declaration for a
Many
desire
people
of a national
skip the
debt like we
basics.
had.
Brenton, many people skip the basics.
Man, yeah.
Many people, they miss the whole boat
Yeah.
because they shoot for the stars, right? And they have this robust plan in place, but they never did put in place a general durable power of attorney or healthcare power of attorney, which I can't think of in the middle of this crisis anything more important than having my spouse, for me, appointed to handle all our finances, our real estate, everything, our retirement, my retirement.
Yeah.
If I go in quarantine or if I'm stricken down by this thing, I'm out of commission. I mean, the Prime Minister of Britain is in ICU right now.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to let
Hopefully-
you in.
Nobody's.
in to see you.
I'm not coming in to see you. Our notaries and witnesses aren't coming in to see you, and they have to be able to see those things and sign right there, line of sight. So, Brenton, what in a crisis should people really be aware of in regards to having their affairs in order?
Yeah, it's a really good point. I think that a lot of people think that peace of mind comes from having some sort of convoluted estate plan, but really it's the foundations that are the most important thing. And those are really your powers of attorney, so your general durable power of attorney and what we call the financial power of attorney, right? So that's your general durable power of attorney.
Street name.
Street names, financial power of attorney. That's right. healthcare power of attorney, your living will, and your will, and probably the most important, especially right now in this crisis, to have is those powers of attorney. I mean, we were just talking with the sheriff about scams. I mean, one of the things that I tell my clients is, look, you want to protect yourself as you age, and you want to have people who can help protect you as well. And a couple ways that you can do that is to anticipate the possibility of some type of elder abuse or exploitation, because scams aren't just from people offshore calling in to get your credit card number.
Right.
Elder exploitation and abuse is not just from, people on the outside. In fact, I would say that the majority of elder abuse happens from a close-knit, arm's length type of,
They keep it indoors.
proximity. Yeah.
Nobody
And
sees
I mean,
it.
I'm kind of beating around the bush here. What I mean is family does it. Family does it.
Family members.
That's right.
Yeah.
Family members.
That's
Well,
right.
you were
Yeah.
talking about documents. There is no. You should not have a one-size-fits-all document.
It's all individual.
Yes.
Yeah, it's based on your individual assessment. Hey, another thing.
It may cover
yeah.
a lot of the general topics, but we see so many different
Yeah.
situations.
I'll tell you one way to that I'm thinking about. You made me think about it, Brenton. I've talked about it before. One way to make sure that, heaven forbid, if I am slipping into dementia, if I have signs of Alzheimer's, whatever the diagnosis may be over time, that I don't strike some wacky deal with a neighbor or with somebody else, some kind of scammer out there who's trying to take away my home or my property, that I could sign a deed over to them. One way to make sure that stays in the family and can't happen is to do either deed planning, like to go ahead and do a ladybird deed or life estate deed on a home that makes sure it goes to the kids, heaven forbid, even if I did sign a deed to someone else. Wouldn't matter. The kids are going to get it. And then, or to place that in trust. Brenton, I feel like you're the man with trust, the convertible trust. Brenton has created a trust where you control everything in it. It's revocable until certain triggering events happen, or until you sign a one-page document that converts it to irrevocable. And then all those things in money, property, everything within there, I like to say it's like putting everything in the safe but leaving the door open until you need to close it.
That's remarkable. Now I know why that you like the term trigger
Trust or
trust.
convertible trust. I like to call it a convertible trust. I like to think I'm driving my convertible. I'm in the driver's seat, and then when it starts raining, the top goes up to protect me, right?
Right.
And somebody that's a trusted family member comes in and controls the money and property, and also that money and property within the trust goes irrevocable, right? The trust goes irrevocable. That means I can't revoke it. It's still maintained for my use and benefit during my life, right? I can still draw income off the investments. I can still live in the house that's in the trust. And it's a protective measure that if I need long-term care, because I know the reality that 70% of people over 65 right now are going to need some type of long-term care during their lives, either in-home assisted living or nursing home care. And it ain't cheap.
No.
So to pay for that, I'm going to have to spend sometimes everything I've worked for the entirety of my life. And then in the end, when my house passes through my will, I'm burned by probate because the house is taken away to pay for the lien that's created, either the nursing home bill or the Medicaid lien, because Medicaid had to come in and pay for nursing home or assisted living care.
That's right.
So as a proactive, would you agree, if there was a vaccine for this virus, would you take it?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Is that an
Absolutely.
unfair question?
No.
Right. If I had a vaccine for lien holders, Medicaid, long-term care, being able to come in and take your hard-earned money and property, would you take it?
Certainly.
Do you have a vaccine for that, Brenton?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I thought up the convertible trust. Is we already have had the irrevocable trust as an option. We've always had the revocable trust as an option, but what we didn't always have is the ability to have a smooth transition from one to the other and to give our clients best of both worlds, right?
Does it happen automatically when
It does.
when a triggering event occurs? You don't have to go in there and call and say, "Do this."
No,
we
it
just need
happens.
to know about the event.
Absolutely happens automatically, and that's how we build it, is so that, you know, if you, and we can tailor this to you and to your wishes as well. I mean, I give my advice, but we can tailor it, and I'll give you examples. If you're diagnosed with severe dementia, debilitating disease, you're in a facility for an indefinite amount of time, like a skilled nursing facility, that trust automatically triggers and becomes irrevocable at that time. So all your hard-earned money and property that's in that trust is now completely protected. And whereas you had total control over all of that before, now you have a trusted family member appointed to take care of your money and property and still allow you to benefit from it. Live in the house. You can even return to the house. Hopefully you do. Hopefully if you are in that situation, you don't stay in a facility. Hopefully if you are diagnosed with some type of disease, that you still get to live at home. But you know, that home's not going to be taken away from you. It's going to be there for you until the end of your life, and then your heirs will be able to benefit from that without any question, right? There's no question of it going through probate and having that battle with creditors.
Well, most seniors have their assets tied up in their home. Savings is not. A lot of seniors don't have a lot of savings, but they've invested all the time in everything in their home.
It varies
I
from
know it
individual
does.
to individual.
I know
It
does.
varies. We have seniors who have large estates. We have clients who have very large estates. We have clients who have medium-sized estates. We have clients who have small estates. And there is rarely a person who we can't craft a plan for and make it worth their while. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, they shouldn't assume, though, that an estate means columns and manicured lawns and things like that.
Your estate are
And-
the things that you own. Your estate during your life is your house,
Yeah.
your retirement, your vehicles.
You know, one thing
Anything
I've
you-
heard is, you know, I don't have an estate. The bank owns my home,
Right.
right? And you know, while it's true that you may have a mortgage or equity line of credit on your home, you have equity in that home.
And the
That's still
bank
an
doesn't
asset.
own your home. You own your home.
That's right.
You have the bank. You may have given the bank a deed of trust, tying the loan that you have with the bank and saying, "Hey,
It's just
if I
collateral.
don't pay, you can take the house away. Right? You can foreclose on my house." That's what you give the bank in a deed of trust. But you own the home. You have the deed to the property.
Right.
So there is a misconception about that out there.
One thing we didn't mention, you make home visits to people who are homebound or can't get out. I don't know how that's working right now because of the distancing problem, but just in general, I have gone with you when there's been an elderly lady who you felt might be uncomfortable, you know, and wanted me there. And it's by the time we leave, there's just a relief in that person. You know, they realize what they have now or what they will have, as opposed to the things that they might have lost.
Just like people have anxiety right now about fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety is like a virus, but it's not related to this coronavirus. It's related to anything that's unknown. I see people who have fear and anxiety about losing everything, about how to pay for long-term care. I've seen people who stay up nights, and they're trying to figure out how, you know, they can afford to live or they can not lose their house. It's worrying them to death. I mean, I've seen, and it's visibly shows on them. And after we've come out of some of those appointments, it visibly washes away. Once someone has gained the knowledge that they can stay in control, that they have plenty of options, and they're not going to lose everything.
I'm not laughing at the subject matter. I'm laughing because of what you said, being in control.
Sure.
My sister says I've been dying for 20 years.
Right.
Because I've been planning ahead and making sure everything's done. I've got notes to my children. I've got cookbooks for my children with the recipes, and it's comforting to me to know that I do have control.
Sure.
And that I have done, that I learned from you, the things that you've done for me.
Right.
So control, I'm a control freak when it comes to
Yeah,
things like that.
I mean, I just think gaining knowledge, when I feel out of control, when I feel fear and anxiety, it's usually because I don't know enough. Mm-hmm. There's things that I don't know. There's things in my sphere that are flying around, and I need a point of reference. So, I think that learning, educating yourself about what's going on right now, about estate planning, elder law, how to protect your hard-earned money and property is important. Brenton, thank you very much for being on the show today.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I think today's show was a great show. We had a word from the sheriff. We've talked a little bit about estate planning and elder law. Hayden, you put out some great information today, and I appreciate you being on the show also. So this has been the Elder Law Report. I'm Greg McIntyre, estate planning and elder law attorney. I've been here with Brenton Begley, estate planning and elder law attorney. If you would like a free consultation, also if you would like to learn more about estate planning and elder law to cure your fear and anxiety, go to mcelderlaw.com/free webinar, mcelderlaw.com/free webinar, and we've recorded a free estate planning and elder law seminar just for you. Thank you, Milton, for being our engineer today, and please play us out.
Carolina Country, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. The Department of Health and Human Services reports 55 deaths related to COVID-19 as of Tuesday and more than 3,200 cases. Meanwhile, Governor Roy Cooper addressed questions amid new research from UNC Chapel Hill and Duke that pointed to a need to extend the time people need to stay at home.
We just don't know yet. Modeling is one of a number of tools that we're using to make informed decisions in this fight. And we'll look at this and other models, analyze experiences in other countries and states, and consult public health experts and business leaders.
In Washington, President Donald Trump threatened to freeze U.S. funding to the World Health Organization. The president's coronavirus task force coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, tells...
We can do all of that when we get through this as a global community to really understand how to do this better the next time.
A new study indicates that almost a third of American apartment renters didn't pay any of their rent in the first week of this month.
A weekly report from a landlord trade group and several real estate data firms shows that only 69% of tenants paid any rent from April 1st through the 5th. Industry analysts are worried that unpaid rent would lead to commercial mortgage defaults. Apartment building owners with government-backed mortgages can defer payments, but estimates